Good morning, St. Columbus. As we look forward to an upcoming year ahead, I wanted to take the opportunity to look back at this past year and some of the ways that we have had a positive impact on our community during an unprecedented time. Though times have seemed lonely and perhaps a little dark over the last several months, I am so appreciative to so many of you who have engaged, donated, and volunteered your time to share some light with a vulnerable neighbor in our community. First, we've concluded the first session of virtual tutoring with Housing Up students, grades 1 through 9. Thanks to the dedication and enthusiasm of our St. Columbus tutors, we've maintained above a 90% retention rate of Housing Up students. In addition, many of the St. Columbus tutors and their students have actually increased their sessions from 1 session to 2 sessions per week. The kids and their parents are so incredibly grateful for the opportunity to work one-on-one with someone who cares about them and who can give them the time and dedication to succeed in school, despite the challenges of the pandemic. In addition, our tutors have enjoyed building relationships with their students. One tutor noted, "Words can't express how much I enjoy volunteering for Housing Up's after-school program with St. Columbus. It is such a beautiful opportunity to be the hands and feet of Jesus to a sweet, special child of God. It is such a blessing to touch a life, but my student has touched my life too. I enjoy signing on to Zoom every week to see an improvement in my students' academic skills and confidence, and share a smile and a laugh that will stay with me for the rest of the week." Next, with a goal of collecting 1,000 masks before Thanksgiving, the St. Columbus family collected over 1,500 masks for men, women, and children experiencing homelessness. In addition, many of the masks that we received came from non-parishioners who were invited to participate by St. Columbans. Not only are we engaging in our community, we're inviting others to engage with us. And our holiday food boxes. Our goal was to collect 114 boxes to be able to provide a holiday meal to every family in the Housing Up's affordable housing communities. We delivered 135 boxes. One parishioner noted, "I had a wonderful conversation with a Spanish gentleman this afternoon at Fort View who could not have been more grateful in receiving his box from St. Columbus. He was radiant." It is this kind of conversation that makes us do what we do. And finally, St. Columba Security Fund for Housing Up. This fund was created with the goal of raising $30,000 in 30 days to help 30 Housing Up families with food, utilities, and rent assistance. Due to your ongoing generosity, we have delivered well over $46,000 this year, with 100% going to meet the needs of food, utilities, and housing. We have provided 10 families with a week's worth of groceries, 13 families with utility assistance to keep them warm, and 12 families with rental assistance, keeping them safe, together, and in a home. I would love to share a few impact stories with you on how you have made a difference this year. When the pandemic hit our community, Miss Green became the primary caregiver for her 6-year-old granddaughter. Prior to this living situation, Miss Green made the difficult decision of foregoing internet service to pay for her basic utilities. Faced with the prospect of her granddaughter not having access to virtual education this fall, Miss Green reinstated her internet plan even though she wasn't sure how she would afford it long term. The St. Columba's Emergency Relief Fund has subsidized Miss Green's internet bill, and her granddaughter is now thriving in virtual kindergarten. Javier is the head of household for a mixed immigration family. Like so many who work in the service industry, Javier became unemployed when COVID-19 forced a shelter-in-place order. Though Javier is always resourceful, he simply ran out of options when it came to paying his September rent in full. St. Columba's Emergency Relief Fund was able to cover Javier's rent balance, enabling his family of four to remain safe in their affordable housing. And for years, the Perez family has maintained housing stability through their diligent work in the service industry. In April, Mrs. Perez lost her job when the restaurant that she worked for closed its doors due to COVID-19. Although Mr. Perez was able to maintain his position as a cook, the family was forced to make ends meet on just one income. In the beginning of October, Mrs. Perez was rehired to her previous position. And for 3 weeks, she was able to provide for her family again. But unfortunately, as the pandemic worsened, in November, the Perez family was hit with two devastating events almost simultaneously. Mrs. Perez's restaurant was forced to shut its doors again, and Mr. Perez was diagnosed with COVID-19 and grew very ill. With no family income, and Mr. Perez having to quarantine in the back room of their apartment, November quickly became one of the most difficult months the Perez family had ever endured. Thankfully, the St. Columba's Emergency Assistance Fund covered the Perez's living expenses that month, giving them a much-needed, deserved relief. Mr. Perez recovered from COVID-19 and returned to work, while Housing Up is working to find a stable source of employment for Mrs. Perez. And as the coordinator of the community engagement at Housing Up, Dylan Fica has noted that the generosity of St. Columba's enabled Housing Up to dispel fear, instill hope, and give confidence to their families, giving reassurance that they will not fall victim to the circumstances facing the world in 2020. On behalf of Housing Up, he says, "I would like to personally extend our gratitude to the members of St. Columba in making this important mission possible." Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Not only have you been a source of light for our neighbors, you have been a source of light to our St. Columba's family. Look for more opportunities to get engaged in this upcoming weeks, and I hope that you and yours have a joyful, safe Christmas.